What's up, everybody? All right, so I got done a lesson with my man James. Love that kid. And we were actually working on Holiday by Green Day. So we were doing both the power chord part and then the solo. And it was really the solo that brought out this specific issue. Right? And he kept hitting the wrong strings, whatever it was. So we started going into the hand positioning. That solo really was what was bringing it out. So the hand positioning was kind of hovering over the strings. So really his picking was coming from his elbow. It is hard to hover and just use a little bit of your finger and your wrist. If you're doing that, you're probably locking this up, and keeping it too tight to actually make those small movements. So to make the smaller movement, we started doing a little bit of anchoring, and we were doing it for both strings, both parts, with power chords up here, right, on the top couple strings, and then the guitar solo down here. And this is what we were really coming up with. Now, this is something that guitar players kind of develop on their own, and everybody has their own way of doing this. My personal way is I palm mute up here. Right, so it's kind of getting that palm mute sound. So taking this part of my hand and putting it on the back end of the top few strings. You know what I mean? Now, that is what I actually do to anchor to play. And it's very uncomfortable at first for people to get, especially if they're used to kind of hovering over. But if you look, what happens is, as soon as I drop this down, all of these muscles go away. They relax, okay? And I'm able to play just the strings that I want. Now, when I start moving up here, and I don't want to palm mute anymore, I put these fingers down here, right? And then that anchors and takes the weight off of here. I'm not able to do if I pull my hand up. You know what I mean? It's way too much. The bigger muscles are used to make bigger motions. You know what I mean? And we are dealing with the tiniest movements and the tiniest muscles possible to play accurately, to play quickly, to play correctly. So that's what we were going over. Now, like I said, this is something that does develop in guitar players after a long period of time, but it's nice to get in and start it. And what was happening in this particular lesson as well, that you guys might run into if you're kind of in the beginning phases and starting to work with this kind of stuff, is it can be very difficult to make that change. Okay, so he was especially having a difficult time doing the palm muting down here, and really what he said was, it's just not free. You know what I mean? And it was that free, that freedom that was getting him to hit the other strings, where kind of restricting that motion is what gave him the ability to just focus in on that one string. So it is going to be difficult at first. Now, this is the same with a lot of people that grip the guitar neck, and during a lesson constantly having them bring their thumb back down and not gripping. It seems like that's really difficult to do, right? And it seems like you're playing way slower now. If you're doing, you're just used to doing that. If I have you pull down and do the pinching motion, it's like, oh man, I'm so much slower, I can't do it. That may happen, but sometimes it's just uncomfortable in the beginning, and then that's what will allow you to play correctly from that point forward. So I wanted to say that just in case you guys are having an issue with it. If you take a song, or even, whether it's the chromatic exercise that we were doing some pentatonic stuff. So if you're taking even that pentatonic, see if you can anchor down here, and then you start palm muting for down here, right? And it is a little bit of a switch that eventually happens naturally, okay? So I wanted to go over that. Otherwise, hitting just those strings can be very difficult, and it could seem like it's something you'll never get accurately. So try it. Let me know what you think.